Hello and welcome back for another review with me, the Whisky Snob. Following on from 2 videos ago, we had tried the Bruichladdich First Growth series Cuvée A. Today we are going to be having Cuvée D. Now this bottling is again matured in wine casks. For those of you who missed the other video, I'll give you a little bit of a history on these bottles. These bottles are, this series is a collection of 6, A through F. They are all matured in First Growth Cuvée wine casks, or ex-Cuvée wine casks, from different chateaux around the Bordeaux region. This one in particular, the D, is from one of the best wineries in the world, Chateau Haut-Brion, and this particular expression is phenomenal. I'm going to go straight in. I do have an issue with this bottle. When I got it, the cork, I had issues with the cork before, but that seems to be all better now, maybe because it's been opened and stuff. But we'll go straight into that. Right, so, as you can see, not much has been drank out of that, which is quite the opposite of what's been happening recently when I've brought out bottles to taste and review for you. There's not been much left. These, however, because they're limited, there's only 12,000 bottles of each of these, and I have A, B, and D. I'm still looking for E, C, and F, which I have been for over a year now. I did find a couple of them at one point, and by the time I'd got back to the house to try and order them online, someone else has snapped them up. So if you do find them in your local liquor store or off license, be sure to pick them up, because they do, if people recognize what they are, they do pick them up. The great thing about this series of releases from Bruichladdich is the use of different wine casks. It's the same liquid in 6 different types of wine casks. The differences in the tastes, the differences in the nose, the differences on the finish of each and every whiskey is miles apart. The only linking factor really for me of all of these wine finishes, wine cask finished whiskies, is that dryness and the tannins that you get from red wines that is imparted into this whiskey, which again is actually a character that I really, really enjoy in whiskies. Beautiful. On that nose, very fresh. Very fresh. Lots of citrus, oranges, pink grapefruit, lots of lemon zest, like fresh lemon rind, and orange rind, like citrus rinds. It's very herbal. It's green. It's leafy. It's wonderful, and a little bit of oak, just on the just like hiding behind everything, and you can really smell it if you take a really deep waft, deep breath up your nose. It's hanging around, but there is a beautiful sweetness to it, that sweet citrusy sort of, and a little bit of honey. It's wonderful, really. That citrus sweetness is great. I'm going to jump straight into the palate now. Wow, that freshness is still there. The freshness is definitely still there. That citrus is still there. It's, again, a little bit grassy, a bit of, and there is a hint of pepper spice, but not as much as you would think. It's extremely sweet. Extremely sweet. But it's a fresh sweetness. There are some sweetness of fruits. You do get, what am I getting? I'm getting candied orange peels. Candied orange peel with a hint of cinnamon. I'm getting a fruit salad. With syrup. like sugar syrup. The dryness really brings everything back. It really holds back a lot of the flavour until it hits you into the finish. Actually, the palate isn't very complex, but the finish on this expression in particular is extremely long. It's very warming, not very spicy. It's not spicy on the palate, but it's extremely warming. It sort of goes down and it keeps coming back, you know, regurgitating that heat throughout your system and really giving you some tartness. There is some, I can get some guava almost, but really sort of tartish crispness. It's very fresh, extremely fresh for a sweet, for the amount of sweetness that comes through on the palate. The finish is quite tart. That dryness from that wine is spectacular. It's not overpowering, it's not too dry, it's not the same dryness that you get with certain sherry casks, but it's just right. It's almost as if this is just perfect. Coming back to this, actually I tried this about a year ago and it's been sat on the shelf. Coming back to this now, I think it's 100 times better. It's really, really, really great. The A of this bottle, the Chateau Lafite was 46% in alcohol. This one is also the same, aged 16 years. It's a really, really, really great whiskey. Go out and buy it if you can find it. If you can't find it, tough titting. But you might find a bottle sitting on some bar shelf in the middle of nowhere, and when you least expect it, you walk in, you see it on the shelf, order a dram. It happens to me here in Dubai. I go out, and to be honest, the whiskey selection in most bars in the Middle East, obviously being the Middle East, is diabolical, if not non-existent. You might get a couple of blends and a couple of really shitty single malts, and that's your lot. Sometimes you get a bar manager who is into his whiskies and knows his stuff, and will have some of the weirdest and wonderful selections. I walked into a bar next to the port, which it's called the Docks. It's an old English, it's almost like an old English pub. Great food, pub grub. And I looked up on the bar, and actually there was a couple of these. They had the E. I tried to buy off them, but it's illegal for you to purchase directly from a bar, like a bottle. And they had a really great selection. So again, like I said, when you least expect it, you might find it on some bar shelf. Order it. It really does make for a great experience. Now, because I've been talking, I can't actually remember if I've added some water to this or not. I think I did. I'm going to add a little bit more, just in case. Just a couple of drops more. It's the nerves, you see. That's why I need a drink. Putting a couple of drops of water in there really has opened up that nose a bit more. That citrus now is punching you in the face. A lot more fresh, but also a lot more fresh cut grass. Got to be careful when you've got hay fever, you might start sneezing. Really good. On the palate, that sweetness actually intensifies now that some water's been added. It's really opened up that whiskey. I'm starting to get some, now I'm really starting to get some figs, some apricots. I'm getting some other stewed fruits and some other, there is a little gingery spice, almost like candied ginger as well. But that finish is just as long, just as warming. And it really has that tartness still. You can feel it in the back of your jaw. You know when you eat something that's really sour or really tart and it makes your mouth go weird? That's what's happening with this. Beautiful. Go out and get it. Listen, thank you once again for joining me for a whiskey review. My name's Tolga. I'm the Whiskey Snob. Please subscribe to the video if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment and say hi. Please like the videos as well. The more you like them, the more it motivates me to do this. And if you have any suggestions, if there's anything you would like me to try, or if you have any criticism, I'm open to everything. I'm thick-skinned. Right, thank you once again, and see you soon. Cheers.